Alright, this is 2021 Ford Explorer with the Ecoboost 4-cylinder. Okay, so everything you're going to need to do this oil change, you're going to need a 1/4 inch ratchet with a 7mm socket. You're going to need a 3/8 ratchet with a 15mm socket. Need a 6-inch 3/8 extension, and then an oil filter wrench that's a 74mm to 76mm. You can loosen it by hand unless somebody tightened the crap out of it, or you can get the other tools like the pliers for oil wrenches. You'll need a pick or a small flathead screwdriver. I always go with Mobile One. This car takes an M1-102A 5W30. You need 5.2 quarts. So what I do is I buy 2 jugs at once and keep using one of the jugs to top it off. I like to do just a little bit of the Lucas oil stabilizer. Like I said, you're gonna need a sticker, you're gonna need jack stands, of course, a funnel, oil catch pan, things like that. First thing you're gonna do, come to your driver's side door. You pull this. It says twice, but it always opens on the first. You don't have to worry about a parking brake on these because it's electric. Block the wheel just to be safe if you want to. And you just come to the hood. This one just lifts up. You have your prop rod for the hood right there. Place it right in there. Alright, you got your hood up. Go ahead and jack it up on both sides. I'll show you where. And you're gonna come right here where there's no plastic. You're gonna set your jack up. Or you can do it with the one you've got in the car. Exact same spot on this side. The sides high enough for me to get under it. Okay, and I put my jack stands right here on like the A-frame. I forgot what it's called, not A-frame, but maybe it is, but whatever it is. It's just resting on it, but the jacks are holding tension as well. Okay, you're gonna take out all the 7mm bolts going around here, and you've got some of these little the little clips you have to pop loose with a pick, and you'll take down just this section. You won't have to take down this section. And like with these style, like I was saying, they'll have a little lip in here, and you just put a pick or a flathead screwdriver, works better. But get them started, it'll pop loose. If I can show you, and you can just plop it out, and there's your cover. Okay, so here's your drain plug, and it's 15mm. Then there's your oil filter. So you're gonna need your 15mm, and then usually these are 74 to 76mm socket adapter, but you can't take them off by hand usually. And then you're gonna want to set your pan up this, you know, enough room, because this is gonna spray out this way. And you'll adjust it as it comes. And then you're gonna take your 15mm socket with your wrench, put it on reverse, then break it loose. I like to keep pressure on it while I'm turning, so I can feel when it's out. Then you can go. Didn't spill it. And you got a little spot in most of these drain pans. You can put your drain bolt, and you just let it drain out. Once it drains low enough, take your oil filter loose. Another tip: I always take the oil fill cap off once I have the drain plug out. And once you get it down to roughly about that stream where you know it's controlled, you can sneak your hand up in here and try to loosen it by hand. Should be able to do it. I am, but my lord, she's in there, or on there. But just take it by hand, just like so. You place it on it and then loosen it enough with your ratchet to where you could just get it off by hand. So then you don't have to worry about it getting oily. So what I like to do is just take and loosen it a good bit, let it pour out. And like I said, once it drains down real good, unscrew it the rest of the way, and then just flip it right into the drain pan. So now it's mostly coming to a complete stop with dripping, so I'm going to hold it while turning it and then just pour the rest. Then, like I said, this pan has a little spot right about there to help it drain off as well. So once this is completely done dripping, you're gonna have to clean up all this, because how Ford designed it, no matter what you do, usually you get oil on it. Clean it real good, and then we'll go from there. And while I'm waiting, I'm gonna go and change the air filter. I got this one. It's supposed to be a good one. It's a newer one. I know Fram was not a favorite for a while, but the box is pretty. Okay, change the air filter, air intake filter. Take a 7mm clamp loose, wiggle this out. Okay, you got 2 clamps, one on this backside, one here. Pop them loose. This will come right up. Pull it out of the tabs back here. Pull the old filter out. Normally I'd chop back all that, but I don't have mine here with me, so I'll have to do it later. Put your new filter in. Slide it back in those little tabs right there. Make sure it's square with it. Push down while pulling the clamps back. Slide that on. Zip it down. You're good to go. Alright, so everything's about done dripping. We're gonna go up to this flange where our oil filter goes on, and we're gonna clean it. You always want to make sure you don't have your old O-ring still stuck on it, or you're gonna have an oil leak. Clean it real good. Gonna clean all this junk. I'll spray it with a brake cleaner, and then we're gonna snug it on there. So now that's installed. Now we're gonna take our drain plug, clean it off, inspect the O-ring on it. It looks fine. A lot of people say you gotta change it every time. I've never had to deal with that, but I do always check it. Like I said, it's gonna drip for a good while, no matter what you do. I prefer to let it completely stop, but I don't have that option today. So we're gonna spin it in like so. We're gonna give it a good tighten. Just snug it, don't try to kill it. If you break that off in there, you are gonna be very unhappy for a little while. So clean everything, spray some brake cleaner on that, and then we're gonna go ahead and fill it up from the top. And then we'll check and make sure there's no leak. Now all we're gonna do, we got our cap out. We'll make sure it's in there good. I've measured this out to 5.2 quarts. Then like I said, I put a little bit in the oil filter. So then we'll just be able to pour it right in. This jug was like 30 bucks off Amazon. I love it. That'll be good enough. Let that little bit of residual. And then while we're doing that, we'll look underneath. Make sure we see no drips. Always good to be sure. Like I said, we'll let that drain completely out. Then we'll put our cap back on, and then we'll check and make sure we're good. So what we're gonna do now, take our dipstick, clean it off real good. I make it nice. The little engine sits so far back in here. We're just gonna check it. Okay, so we are close to being full, but I'm sure it's just still run to the bottom because I didn't wait very long. Just put it right through there. So we'll run it and double check it, but in the meantime, while we're waiting for that all to settle, we're gonna do the reverse steps and put everything back how it was underneath. All right, what I like to do to get this started, just line it back up. This little piece right here, these have to be out, or the majority of the way out, before you put them back in. Oh, Okay, so start that one out. We'll take another one we've got. Slide that bad boy in. Like I said, it's easy to tell which ones go where, in case you forget. Ones that are hollow on the inside have those style. Then the ones with screws have that little clip you see right there. It'll thread in. Alright, there you go. Cut the junk off, and you'll jack your jacks back up, pull your jack stands out, and then double check all your work, and then test drive it. Alright, so I take my old sticker out and put my new one in. Try to make sure I don't get any air bubbles, because that'll bother me. Like I said, you can buy these off Amazon, like a pack of 200. It goes like $8. I just ride it, you know, roughly when I think every 6 months. It's due at 91,300 miles, and the grade is 5W30 Mobile 1. And then I'm going to start the car. It's going to tell me yes, the vehicle's on, door's ajar, hood's ajar, your mom's ajar. Okay. And normally it doesn't ever get to the oil change where it tells me the oil change is due, but we were in Florida for my mom. Alright, so we're going to go menu. What is it? Settings, oil life, and then it's at 0%, which I never get it that low. It usually gets to about 45, 50. But then you're just going to hold it. It's going to reset it for you, 100%. Like I said, I change mine roughly every 5,000 miles since it's full synthetic. And then you can go back, test drive it, make sure everything's right. After the test drive, let it cool down, check the oil. Make sure to check under the car before you leave, so you don't run over anything.